What's going on, guys? One, love out to everybody. We got UFC Fight Night, Song versus Figueiredo. Prediction breakdown here over there in Macau, China. Quick prediction here, guys, and breakdown. The fight starts at 4 a.m. Eastern, depending on what time zone you live in. Could be different, but early card. 13 fights in the card. Been busy lately, so I'll do the best I can, but fight ain't start yet, so I'm still early, right? So before I get started, though, guys, hit the thumbs up button, man. You know, thumbs up button is there, just press it. Also subscribe, you know, just don't watch the videos and don't subscribe. Just subscribe so you can get all the alerts. You know, you can know when I post a video, right? Because I post it all different times of days and nights and mornings, whatever. Mostly in the late nights, I mostly post. You know, I do the best I can. But just, you know, just hit the thumbs up and, you know, make sure you subscribe. You know, check out the PayPal account, leave a donation if you can. Kind of help with the channel. And yeah, let's fly into this real quick here, guys. And as I said, I'm not going to spend too long on this one. I'm going to go through it real fast. First fighter, we got Loma Lookboonmee versus Jacqueline Amorami. Loma here is more versatile, you know, I feel. Smaller, the weight to reach. Height kind of smaller, but she make it work for her. She's well-rounded. Like I said, her ground game is gotten better. She's good in the clinch. More Muay Thai, kind of stylish. Let me see. Against her last opponent here, against Tanaro. Her opponent was a little more physically stronger, you know, and more athletic. So it kind of give her a little harder time. And plus, Tanaro, you know, is also well-rounded. You know, her striking very powerful. Her ground game is pretty good. She's a more Thai stylist here. If you take her down, she get back to her foot. Even with Tahara was taking her down, she was getting back to her foot. You know, but Loma is pretty good, you know, also against the cage, you know, the knees and elbows, but she don't really want to hang out in the pocket with Amora, because Amora will, you know, will most likely look to take down, right? Her opponent here, Jacqueline, BJJ black belt coming to ATT, American Top Team there, you know, she will look for the submissions and she will find it, but she will fade after the first round. So she will hunt for the takedowns and the submission real fast, but if she can't get it, she'll gas out real quick. She slows down, man. She slows down a lot, and her striking is not at that level, man. But she's gonna have this 7-inch reach and 2-inch height. So most women in this division here is gonna be longer reach and height than Loma. But the thing about Jacqueline, man, that she will push for the takedowns, but her striking is just not there. And she will hunt for it, and she will get it in the first round. But if she can't submit you, she runs into problems, man. So this fight is like one of these fights here where Jacqueline Amorin, she's going to have to get the finish in the first round. And if she don't get it, Loma is going to pretty much get a decision, in my opinion. So it's like one of these fights where Jacqueline Amorin, maybe submission in the first round if she can. You know, because that's what she does, because she gasses out after, and her striking is now at that level. But I'm going to go Loma. I'm going to say Loma by decision, because I think Loma is just more well-rounded. I feel Amorin is kind of like slightly one-dimensional. So I go Loma by decision, guys. I'm not confident 50-50. Like I said, with women fights, can go either way. Also, Jacqueline has the reach advantage of the height, but still, it's just the one-dimensional thing. So Loma by decision. Next fighter, we got Kangjie Zhu versus Rodrigo Vero. Zhu here, let me see here. Zhu here is he's a little more of a, you know, he's well-rounded, you know, heavy body kicks. You know, will get kind of wild at times, very explosive, swing wild. You know, he scramble up real quick to his foot, though, when you take him down, if you can get him down, you know. So his takedown defense is not bad, and if he does get taken down, he springs up back to his foot. Short notice here for Vera. What I see from Vera, you know, we'll mix it up, you know, looks for takedowns, you know, slightly kind of hittable, can get flat-footed, kind of sit in front of you at times. But he will grind with the takedown, though. But BJJ black belt. But I don't know, man. I just feel heavy kicks from Zhu. You know, I just feel that Zhu has decent takedown defense. What I said from Vera, just, you know, it's just there. I just feel Zhu is just a little more powerful striker, a little more athletic, a little more explosive, but skilled. I just feel Vera's just there to get hit. So I'm just going to go with Zhu. I must say Zhu by decision. And also remember, guys, all these guys are coming out of China, which the card is in China. So yeah, so it could favor them to win. So be careful with that. Next fight, we got Angela Hill versus Jingnen Zhang. Hill here is super experienced, man. The record is 18 and 16, but she fought nearly everybody in her class, in her weight class, man. And she's very experienced. A lot of losses and some wins, but like I said, you're losing, but you're losing against experienced people, And she's win some good ones too against, women that are very, decent prospects, and she beat them. Hill has a strike in the movement. Her ground game has gotten better. Age of the number being 41, but she still looks in good shape. With Zhang here, Zhang seems, let me see here. Zhang seems to fight a lot in the ring, in the boxing ring. Coming from one championship and all these things. She will mix it up, I don't know, but what I see from her is kind of like she will let it go, but she doesn't do a lot of volume. But she will she will let the hands go at times. She can be a little aggressive at times, but she doesn't consistently do that. And her striking, she kind of smother her punches a lot. Like when she's trying to throw, it's like just smothering it, and her chin is there to get hit. It's just kind of not a clean technique. I don't know, man. From what I see from her, is just nothing that really shine. I just feel like Hill has just way more experience. I mean, look at Zhang. Hasn't really fought anybody really. You look at the resume of Hill. Even though she loses, is like, she's fighting prospects like Fatima Klein, who's very good. I don't see Zhang coming close to Klein. Klein is like very technically skilled everywhere, man. Work off the jab, good ground game. You know what I mean? So I have to go with Hill. Yeah, I say Hill by decision, but I'm not confident because Hill will also drop the ball. So I go Hill by decision, guys. Like again, it's a woman fight, so you gotta be careful with it. Can go either way. All right, next fight we got Rei Tsuruya versus Louis Gurro. Ray can be slightly one-dimensional at times, but his wrestling is very dominant and his submission game is dominant, man. He will look to grime, not the best striking, like I said, head can be straight up, but he makes it work for him. His opponent here, Louis won his last fight, and it's a quick turnaround for him against Daniel Barras, May 16th, so it's a quick turnaround for him. He looks good in that fight, but his other 3 fights, looks like he wasn't mentally there at all, so look like he's kind of getting back to his mental state. The body as follows the mind. But with Louis, though, he can be the slower fighter. He can be hittable at times. Like I say, dealing with a mental thing. I'm not sure, what he's dealing with there. I feel like he's a little more well-rounded in a sense. Will let the hands go. He will also look to wrestle, but he's kind of slow at the movement. I just feel Ray's just like, I don't know. I feel Ray's just a quicker guy. He's just, man, his submission game is elite. I just feel like he's just the speed. And I feel like he can take this fight anywhere down to the ground if he really needs to. Lewis got, the grappling, but Lewis, against Daniel was taking him down, and Daniel is not even, Daniel can go for technical, but he's not known for that. He's more known to striking, and he was taking down Lewis, bro. So, if Daniel is taking him down, bro, Ray is like freaking elusive with the takedown, man. He gave Joshua Van a run for his money, and Joshua Van usually finishes his opponents, dude. And he went to a decision with Joshua Van, dude. Which, if you look at Joshua Van is actually a champion right now, and Joshua Van actually finished Tara in the 5th round. He finished Ashura Tara, dude. So that goes to say, man, he finishes a lot of his fights. So I gotta go with Ray, man. I just feel Ray is just versatile. It's not, I wouldn't say he's versatile, but he just has the speed. He's able to avoid taking so much damage, even though it does get hit at time. I just feel like the wrestling, man, is just on point. There's a different level of wrestling here, man, along with the submission. So I'll go with Ray by submission in the 1st round, guys, but I'm not confident, 50-50. Next fight here, guys, we got Richie Lang versus Cody Haddon. Richie Lang here, this guy come to fight, man. He bites down, power hitter, man. Will slow down in the later rounds though, but this guy looks a finisher in the 1st round. I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, I mean, some decisions here, but he looks to take your head off. You know, he comes to fight against Cody. Cody's versatile. I mean, Cody will mix it up, man. Cody is a pretty decent fighter. Hasn't fought since 2024, but his only loss is against Steve Urchek. So this guy here, man, lots of volume. Boxing is nice, kicking game, his ground game, his defense is on point, dude. I like Cody. I say Cody by decision, guys. All right, just flying through this real quick here, guys, but accurately, with love. Let's get it, man. Let love guide you, man. Not hate. That's right. Keep it positive. Next fighter, we got Ming Ding versus Jose Soja. Ding here, 28 by knockout, dude. 28 by knockout, bro. Majority of this guy's wins are by finishes by knockout, bro. But if you look on these guys that he's fighting, though, and his record, just, you know, the guys he's fighting is kind of like, you know, slightly kind of padded, not the best. He goes in there and finishes fights, though. You know, fight guys like we fighting this guy here, Kuma Bajang, if I pronounce that right, like 5 or 6 times. You know what I mean? Like I said, he is powerful and he will put you out. He's hittable though, can get knocked down, but he's still durable. And he's there to finish it, bro. Like I said, 28 by knockout. Jose, on the other hand, Jose, he's gonna have a 6-inch reach. You know, he will let it go. You know, can get reckless at times. He likes to be against the cage though, which is big mistake against a guy like Ding. You don't want to be against the cage leaning up because Ding will finish you against that cage. You don't want to put your back against the cage. You always want to be in laterally, always moving. You don't want to rest against anything, especially in a fight. You want to be in the center, circular. You don't want to have your back against anything, man, because then you can't move and you're stuck there. You know, you got what you want to. You want to be able to be versatile, moving in the direction, right? Let me see here. Like I said, he will hang out a lot against the cage. He's hittable, can get wobbled. If you land like a combination of punches on him, he sometimes will like kind of shell up and kind of like get dazed, get hurt. I gotta go with Ding. I say Ding by a 3rd round KO TKO, guys. All right, 50-50. Like I said, Ding is like hasn't really fought the best, you know, fighters. You know, obviously, his record's slightly kind of padded. You know, but both guys are just like, you know, kind of like a low-level fight, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? But it is what, even though you say 35-9, but 35 wins by who? Like you know, like who is he beating? Exactly. Okay, let's keep going here, guys. We got Luis Felipe Diaz versus Yisak Lee. Diaz here come up to Contender Series. Actually won the Contender Series. He's well-rounded, man. I like what I see from him is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Look for the submissions. Striking can be kind of winding up, kind of shoulder punches, muscle. Carries a lot of muscle on him too. You know, kind of like swinging with the arms or the arm punches. But I mean, he gets it done. You know, if he connects, he can hurt you. You know, look for taking you down. You know, look to submit you. His opponent here, Lee. What I saw from Lee is kind of amateurish. You know, it's kind of difficult to find footages on him. But it looks like he want to grind with the wrestling and take you down. Mostly ground and pound you. Look for submissions as well. Stand up doesn't look good. It looks kind of amateurish. You know, I just feel Diaz should have more experience here, man. But like I said, you know, a lot of these guys, it's difficult to have a read on them, you know, because like I said, with Lee, not much footage on him. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. So we're just going to ride with Diaz. We see Diaz by submission by the 2nd round, guys, 50-50. Next fight, we got Alex Perez versus Sami Durjan. Alex Perez here, veteran, skilled guy. He showed it against Charles Johnson. Everybody pretty much has Johnson winning. I believe I had Johnson winning as well. Alex went in there and showed us why he is, you know, he's a veteran, why he's skilled. You go in there and show you, you know, he only loses to top competition, dude. So this guy, you can't sleep on him. He's skilled, he's well-rounded, he's knowledgeable about the sport. Sami Durjan is also good. He's well improved. Ground game got way better. 7-inch reach, 2-inch of height. Kind of similar to Johnson, you know, which Charles Johnson beat Sami Durjan. We don't want to look at the fight like that because Alex beat him, so that means Alex is going to come in here and beat Sami Durjan, but it's possible. I don't know, man. If Alex usually gets in trouble when you start taking him to the ground. And I don't really see Summer Durgeon taking him down because Summer Durgeon is more a striker. So if the fight stands up, Alex should win, I guess. IQ, the experience. I gotta go with Alex. I say Alex Perez by decision, guys, but I'm not confident. Next fight, we got Jake Matthews versus Carlson Harris. I believe Harris is short notice. Jake Matthews, man, this guy, man, like when he's on, dude. And he's mostly been on, but then when he loses, it's like why? It's like against Neil Magny, you were winning. He be looking good in the fight, and then he just loses. And it's like out of nowhere. Like what happened? Like he slows down. I don't know what happened. He just loses. He just gets submitted. You know what I mean? And a guy like Harris will submit you, but man, Harris from when he started, he did look good. He looked better when he started. He just seemed like he's just on a decline. Like the Harris I saw way back here in 2021 is completely different Harris in 2025, losing to Santiago Ponzinibbio, man. It's just not a good look. I just feel like he's just not the same Harris anymore, man. I feel it's a fight for Jake to win, man. So I'm going to go Jake by KO TQ in the second round, guys. All right. Next fight here, guys. We got Kai Asakura versus Cameron Smotherman. Kai is skilled, man, but just hasn't been winning in UFC, Big over in Resin. I believe Resin champion. Beat Haraguchi, which Haraguchi beat him, and he also beat Haraguchi. Straight punches, beat Manuel Cape also, which Manuel Cape also beat him as well. So, he's that back and forward, but he has the credentials and he has the ability to pretty much win fights, but he just hasn't been winning in UFC yet. And he was beating Tim Elliott until he got taken down. It just seems like the ground could be an issue. Because both fights he gets submitted. Against Smotherman, I don't think he's going to take him down. Smotherman is more a striker. He's going to want a more strike, which I favor more Kai. But Cameron Smotherman has potential. But he would drop the ball though, man. He will let the hands go and and then kind of strike it out with you. But he beat Jake Hadley. But I just feel like if he's not looking for submission and looking for taking down and things like that, I feel that Kai should have this. He does have an undercunder choke. I believe he has maybe one by submission. I think that's the only one he has by submission. But he has one by submission, man. So Kai is losing by submissions. So he can get knocked out too, but I don't know. There's two fights here, by submission. I'm gonna go with Kai, man. I say Kai by KO TQ in the first, guys, but I'm not confident. Next fight here, guys, we have Sergei Pavlovich versus Taliesin Teixeira. Sergei here, man, is just freaking veteran, dude. Experience, pack mad power, skill, experience guy, man. That's pretty much it, man. For somebody to come in here and beat him has to be very skilled and technical, or have that in and out ability and speed like Tam Aspinall has, that sprinting quickness, which Teixeira does have that. But Teixeira shows that, he has holes. It just shows that he's not really quite at that level. And you can catch him with a punch and knock him out. So slightly kind of greenish. So I believe that Sergei should win this, but don't sleep on Teixeira because he could catch him with a punch. But I feel Sergei should win. I say Sergei by KO TQ in the first round, guys. Both heavyweights, man. Just take one shot and you're out. So there's nothing guaranteed, nothing confident, especially with the entire card too. So not just that fight. Co-main event, we got Ming Yang Zhang versus Alonzo Menifield. Zhang is kind of, I don't know, man. He packed power as well, but Johnny Walker just kind of old school him a little bit with the kicks and, kind of took away his legs, finishing with punches, It's just, I don't know, man. It could be like an IQ thing there, It's just, Anthony Smith is pretty much done, And Tokos is not at that level. So I mean, this is one of these fights where can he beat Alonzo? Alonzo is skill and experience, man, and shows it. Explosive, heavy hitter. You know, I mean, if freaking Johnny Walker is doing that to him, you know, I mean, he lost to Volkan Ozdemir, but Volkan Ozdemir is like higher level dude. I mean, he's beaten like Julius Walker or Marshall. Losing to Asmat is not a bad look, but Asmat, lost, his last fight there. Carlos Ulberg is not a bad look. Carlos Ulberg is champion right now. Asmat just lost, but he's losing to Paul Costa, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel Zhang is just not at that level. I feel if Alonso put the hands on him and kind of push him, push him hard, push him to that point, use the experience in him, use the veteran thing on him, I think like Alonso could probably win this. I'll go Alonso. I say Alonso by KOTK in the first round, guys, but I'm not confident. Main fight on the card is Yadong Song versus Davison Figueiredo. Song is very powerful, explosive, skill, always improving. It's a young kid, 28 years old. Pack power, ground game is coming along. Trainer there on Team Alpha Male. Good defense. Figueiredo is on a decline, like I said. And I said, when I brought on his last fight, even when he fought against Umar, he's on a decline. He's not the same like he used to be. He's also what he moved up, I believe, to 135, right, from 125. So it's like he doesn't look the same. He's just not at that. I won't say he's not at that level because he was champion over there in 125. I mean, still experienced veteran guy, skilled guy, but I feel like he's on a decline. I feel like this is a fight for Song to win, man. I mean, that's just pretty much it. So I'll go with Song. I'll say Song by decision. All right. Quick look at the odds here, guys. Here we're working with crazy odds. Check these odds out, man. Oh, it was already there already. Okay. Jacqueline Amora and Luma. They got Jacqueline at close fight, negative 130, 150. I like Luma. I mean, it's close to even, but I like Luma. Vera and Zhu, we got Vera even fights. I guess so. Because like I said, a lot of these fights here, we don't really know the guys too well. So even fight is good for me. What we got here? Zhu and Rodrigo. You got two, okay. Hill and Zhang. Zhang at 178, 198, 198. I wouldn't, I'd be careful with that one, especially a woman fight. We see the dogs and women always come in. So we usually see the women, they're more, usually the underdogs usually come in. And Hill, he's experienced, veteran, been fighting that cage. Zhang usually fights in boxing ring. You just don't know what to expect with that. So, I mean, I like Hill, but I could see Zhang winning, Like I said, if you look at Hill, he says she's old or whatever, age and number though. But, I mean, we see what happened. Lewis and Rei got Rei at 300 or something. Damn. Rei's kind of high, but, Lewis is still skilled. But, again, the mental thing, you don't know how he's going to perform. But the speed advantage, and I feel Rei just all around better guy, man. Just speed and the grappling, the wrestling and the submission he's just on that level. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But be careful with that one, though. It's kind of high. Deng and Jose, they're kind of close to even. Like I said, I don't disagree. Like, these fights here, a lot of these guys we don't really know too well. So, he can go either way, man. Richie Lang and Cody at 300 or something. Yeah, I mean, I'm liking Cody, but at 300, man, still be careful because Richie Lang is a beast. And he will land a punch in your hurt and put you out. So, be careful with that one. DS and Lee. I got Diaz at 170. Yeah, I mean, for what I've seen, I like Diaz better than Lee, man. It's hard to find footage in Lee, but what I see from Lee just look very amateurish. So, I mean, it is what it is. Alex Perez and Simo Durjan. Got Perez a little favorite here, kind of close to even. I don't disagree. I feel Alex is a better fighter here, but we see what happens. Harris and Jake at 400 and something. Yeah, I feel Jake should win this fight, Harris, I feel, is fading. He's like on a decline, bro. Jake should win this fight, man. But we see what happened. Cameron Smotherman and Kai. Kai at 200 and something. Kai should win, man, but he's, lost 2 in a row in the UFC. He hasn't got a win yet. So, he's at 200. He still got to be careful. But he has potential, though, especially to beat Cameron. I don't feel Cameron is on his level, though. But it is what it is, man. I mean, we see what happened. Alonzo and Zhang. Zhang at 200 and something. They got Zhang as favorite. I disagree with that. Like I said, I don't feel Zhang's IQ is that great. I feel Alonzo is more experienced. Alonzo is a veteran and can take that fight to that different level that Zhang can't handle. So Zhang being 200, I'll be very, very, very careful with that. I'll be very careful with that, man. And that could be a big upset. You could see Alonzo coming in as underdog, man. Be careful. Sergei and Teixeira. Sergei at 500 or something. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't feel Teixeira's at that level, dude. You know, Sergei is a very heavy hitter and very experienced guy, man. Only loses to top level guys. So yeah, you know, I'll be careful. But still, I feel it's heavyweight. Anything can happen, but I feel Sergei should win. Davison Figueiredo and Song Yong-dong. Yeah, Song Yong-dong is pretty high, but like I said, Figueiredo, I feel he's in a decline, man. So I feel Song should have this. But that's pretty much it there, guys. That's my odd breakdown. And yeah, man, 4 o'clock card. So I'm going to start in a couple of hours, I guess, like 3-4 hours, right? So that's it right there, depending on the time zone you're living. But that's it right there, guys. One love out to everybody, man. You guys keep on kicking. Just stay focused, man, and just keep pushing forward. You know, don't let anybody sway you away from, you know, from what you believe and what you know. You know, just stay confident and positive of what you're doing, and know that everything will be okay. You know, you just gotta keep putting in the work. You know, just discipline with consistency, man. You know, the more you do it, the better you will get at it. And just keep focused on what you're doing. Don't get distracted, because there's a lot of distraction out there. You know, a lot of illusions, a lot of people pull you away from what you're doing. You know, just find something you like to do and put your energy in it. Keep pushing forward, guys. All right, one love, man. Os.